As we leave the 1999 PWBA Fall Tour and the Millennium, we look back at what has been a fabulous swing. Two established veterans continued their winning ways. A 7-year veteran proved that with hard work and determination, good things will happen. A rookie not only captured her first PWBA title, but also threw only the second televised 300 in PWBA history. $50,000 from MasterCard for Cara Honeychurch. And we also reached a milestone as Alita Still became the first woman to surpass $1 million in career earnings. Can we top that? You betcha. Stay tuned as the PWBA says goodbye to the 1900s next. In the opening match of the Samstown Invitational, you'll see the reigning Rookie of the Year, Jody Ellis, as well as the 1992 and 89 Rookies of the Year, Marianne DeRupo and Kim Kennedy. The winner there will challenge 20-year veteran Cheryl Daniels, and the victor of that match will go head-to-head against the hometown favorite, one of the hottest hands on tour, Wendy McPherson, to claim the final championship this year. Welcome inside Samstown Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Familiar place for the PWBA, an appropriate place to cap off the year, decade, and century with the finals of the Samstown Invitational. Hi, everyone. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with my partner who has just completed 20 years on tour, Lisa Wagner. We're so glad you joined us for this final event. Lisa, another player finishing up 20 years on tour today. Cheryl Daniels, the number 2 seed. She's really struggled the last 3 or 4 years. I know you can relate to that.
Well, I definitely can, Jan. Cheryl and I are kind of in the same position. Cheryl hasn't won for 3 years. I didn't win for 3 years. I went back to my old instincts this year. Hey, you know what? It worked, and I won again. Cheryl has just now recently gone back to what she knows will work for her. So, hey, this is 2 of 3 shows. Watch out.
Well, a player we always watch out for, the number 1 seed, Wendy McPherson, 96 and 97 Player and Bowler of the Year, and she is pushing for 99.
You better believe it. This is a huge event for Wendy McPherson. Not only is she in the running for the Bowler of the Year race, but she's also in the hunt for Bowler of the Decade. I think her fate is in her own hands.
We'll see what fate has to say in a little bit. We're ready for the opening match. It'll be Jody Ellis, Marianne DeRupo, and Kim Kennedy. Handshakes around for the opening match. And it looks like Kim Kennedy will be starting the match. It was Kim's choice, as she's the number 3 seed out of this group. Kim taking a little time with this first shot.
Pretty important tournament right here, Jan. The last one of the millennium.
Big strike for Kim Kennedy to start it off. That's right, whoever wins this will forever be known as the final champion of the 1900s.
Right, well, it's not enough that the Samstown tournament is such an important event anyway, because it's a major, it's a tough tournament to win. You have more bowlers. Boy, the last one of the whole century is pretty awesome.
And it's our principal sponsor, our umbrella sponsor for the last several years. Both players starting off with strikes. Jody Ellis from Durban, South Africa. This is her 2nd year as a pro. As we mentioned at the top of the show, she was the Rookie of the Year in 1998 and doing very well in her sophomore year. So everybody strikes, everybody looking good, so we're still on pace to get it out of the way early. $50,000 from MasterCard still on the table for anyone that shoots a 300.
That's a lot of money, as Cara knows. Cara Honeychurch was 300 earlier.
Coming up pretty high, maybe a little soft on that shot. Meanwhile, Marianne DeRupo stepping up on lane 19, qualified fourth with a 217 average. Pin for Marianne. Kim will probably just go for 2 pins. It's a tough split to make, Lisa.
Well, definitely it is. It is kind of makeable, though, you know, being that she did knock the 10 out of that, it would be a Greek church. Since the 10 did fall, you do go for the 4-7, and you can slide it over and make it. Unfortunately, Kim didn't do it this time. But Marianne did make hers fair.
So Jody Ellis, the only one still with just a strike. She could double here and take the 10-pin lead. Coming light, leaving the bucket. She did that early in a match last night, position round, coming up light.
Came up light in the position round last night, but you know what? It was all over after that. She made it, went on. Ball was a little bit light there. She just about got the 5 out, but it's not an easy spare either. Perfect.
Covered up clean, and Lisa, you mentioned about the Bowler of the Decade race. We're going to take a look at the players in that race. Kim Adler, 12 titles, 3 majors throughout the 90s, $611,000, average of 210, 73,000 points. That's what she's done throughout the 10 years, the 1990s. Look at the scoreboard. Marianne DeRupo, Jody Ellis tied for the lead right now. Kim Kennedy trailing by 14 pins. We will show you the rest of the top 7, the Magnificent 7 we call them, that are up for the Bowler of the Decade. Kim Kennedy already won once this year in the doubles with Linda Nori Barnes now, married to the PBA star Chris Barnes. Kim Kennedy seems to like lane 19.
Yes, she does. I think you're right. I think she did get a little bit soft. You know, Kim has to watch that she doesn't set the ball short. And I think she might have done that in the second frame. This is another person, another bowler right here that has to watch out for that. Has made a few changes in her game lately, paying off.
Well, her ball speed is so much softer, slower.
She's not forcing through the shot. You know, she felt like she was just, she said she was getting about 120% every single shot. And she didn't want that. She wanted to back off a little bit and let the ball do the work.
That being Marianne DeRupo. Meanwhile, Jody Ellis up on lane 19. And it looks like all 3 players seem to prefer lane 19, but they all won't get to finish there. In fact, Marianne DeRupo will be the only one.
Only one, that's right.
Actually, she started on lane 20, though. She prefers lane 20.
But she'll finish on 19.
They didn't plan that too well.
Ooh, well, unless they know something we don't know.
Kim Kennedy coming light, a bucket, just as you saw Jody Ellis lead on lane 20. Now Marianne DeRupo on lane 19. She did hit the pocket, though. She just left a 10-pin on that lane. Ooh, 3, 6, 9, 10. That's a tough one.
Wow, 2 tough spares right here. Kim Kennedy has the bucket, 2, 4, 5, 8.
Whoa.
I saw that many, many, many times this week.
Disaster, 2 open frames for Kim Kennedy. And another open frame. Well, scores were not quite as high this week as they've been in the past. Some of the pairs were very tough.
Well, I think it's a tribute to the players that are on this show because they made adjustments very quickly, and you had to.
Wow. I don't believe what's happening here.
Well, you know, the right lane is just popping up and biting everybody right now. ball just cutting through, you know, 4, 6, 7. There's not much you can do. Just go get 2 and move on. Sit down on the bench, take a few deep breaths, and figure it out.
Well, Marianne DeRupo and Jody Ellis are tied for the early lead. We'll bring you more bowling from Las Vegas, Nevada, right after this. The championship round finals of the Samtown Invitational are being brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owner and operator of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun. By Budweiser and Bud Light, the official beers of bowling. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. We're back at the Samtown Invitational. While we were away, the players continued to strike on their good lane, lined up their bad lane, and then disaster on their good lane for Kim Kennedy. Jody Ellis didn't carry, so Marianne DeRupo now in the lead by 11 pins. Kim Kennedy stepped back off the approach. High game this week, 300, the only 300 of the game, and she also had a 299.
That's right, and she also had 279 with the front 9 that game, so it could have gone either way there. But you know what she said? All of them were in the 5th game of each round.
Amazing. And the pin she left for 299? 8-10. Solid 8. Oh. Coming up late now on lane 20, 2-4-5, at least kicked out the back pin. Marianne DeRupo now on 3 in a row, up by 11, can take it to 21 with another strike here in the 8th frame.
Well, she definitely got lucky right there by tripping the 4 out. She missed her target left that time. And a good break by just leaving the 9 pin.
Well, the 2 and 5 are spread a bit here. And that's what happened. Chop the bucket the same way a little bit earlier. That, again, as you mentioned, you saw that a lot this week.
Right.
Well, these two players, Marianne DeRupo, Jody Ellis, you need to try to stay clean. Jody's going to need to throw a few strikes here, though, to catch up to Marianne.
Well, she is lined up. She's pretty close to the pocket here. She left a ring and 10 in the 7th frame, so high there, though.
Jody has Don Johnson, PWBA Hall of Famer, on hand with her all week. He was giving her a lot of advice and coaching her on relaxing her hand.
Back on track for Kim Kennedy. Big smile.
Jody covers up the 6-10. It was Jody's 25th birthday a week ago, and somebody asked her what she wanted for her birthday. You know what she said?
To make the show.
That's exactly what she said.
You know what? Wishes do come true.
Yeah. What should I wish for my next birthday?
I think the next wish is to win this match, though.
Oh, yeah, probably. Do you get more than one per birthday? Do you get more?
The older you get, the more wishes you get.
You need them. Big shot from Marianne DeRupo in the 9th frame.
Very big shot.
Yeah, needed to set that up.
Oh, big shot there.
Jody Ellis can strike here in the 9th and set up the 10th frame. She could still go off the sheet for 215 and force Marianne DeRupo to get a strike in the 10th frame. Oh, pull the tablecloth out from under those pins.
That's the way to make the bucket.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to make it, the first shot. Then I don't have to shoot it.
Good advice, Lisa. Kim Kennedy trying to get, all right, a little bit of pride back. Kim just won a week and a half ago the Rollers and Pro Bowlers event we've been promoting, along with senior member Dave Humphrey and wheelchair bowler Jeannie Wharton, the only team with 2 women.
There you go.
Go ladies.
There you betcha.
Marianne DeRupo right now needing the strike. Well, you said she got a break last time on that lane. This time, 4-9, both going down.
She is going to need some good count, though. She got to make sure that she doesn't leave a 4-9 or something like that, or go high again, because Jody could step up and take advantage of that.
She still needs 9 spare. Otherwise, we could have a tie, or Jody could step up and beat her. She'll need to cover the spare. Kim Kennedy's parents out with her all week. Joyce and Owens Terrell. She was happy to have them here. Always a pleasure. We always enjoy their company. Not Kim's best performance, but a great week. Good year for Kim Kennedy. Big spare right here.
Ooh. Barely hung on. She knew the score, though. You saw her before she shot this spare. She was looking at the scoreboard, checking it out. She knew exactly what she had to have.
That's 216. Best Jody Ellis can do is 215. Not to be, but we talked about Don Johnson there. He is PBA and ABC Hall of Famer and great man.
I remember him when I was growing up, and, you know, nobody will ever forget the performances of him on TV.
Don Johnson versus Johnny Petraglio. That was the big,
awesome,
big fight, big war going on between those two. Jody Ellis covers up the spare, but Marianne DeRupo wins the opener, and when we come back, we'll have a full plate of PWBA news. Welcome back to Samstown Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center. As we get ready for the turn of the century, the Miami Herald surveyed 20 veteran members of the Bowling Writers Association of America to determine the top woman bowler of the century. Marion Ladewig, who bowled in the 50s before there was a professional tour, won 9 national all-star tournaments and won the first women's professional tournament in 1960. We asked 19-year president of the PWBA and member of this voting panel for his views.
In my opinion, Marion Ladewig was an outstanding bowler in the 1940s and in the 1950s. But for my money, the woman bowler of the century would have to be Lisa Wagner. 32 titles, the parity out on tour, and the bowlers that she had to compete against compared to the bowlers that Marion Ladewig had to compete against, it's Lisa Wagner.
It's Lisa Wagner. She was second in the balloting. Donna Adamick third, Alita Still fourth, Patty Costello fifth. We're joined by Lori Nichols in the booth. It's an honor to have her here. And what do you think, Lori, about this bowler of the century?
Well, I think that they're not looking at the whole picture of the longevity of it. You know, Marion definitely was a great bowler, but definitely my pick has to be Lisa.
I vote for that, too. Lisa Wagner, hey, 32 titles over 20 years. That's huge.
Well, I thank both of you, and I'm thrilled to death to be in that position.
Ready for the semifinal match, Marianne DeRupo against Cheryl Daniels. You know, not only those, but just the schedule we keep, the conditioning, the talent, coaching, all of that. It's apples and oranges. I don't think you can compare it. It's a tough ballot.
Well, I think anytime that you're a part of that select group, I think...
Messenger interrupted you for a minute there. Took out the 10-pin as Cheryl steps up. Go ahead, Lou.
You know, it seems like, you know, Marion definitely was a great player, and, but they need to look at the whole big picture of everything, and I think that Lisa's just glad to be amongst that select group. Anytime you're getting that, it's a great thing.
Cheryl Daniels coming up high, 4-6-7. She's in the number 2 position by virtue of shooting a 290 last night in position round. 20 years of pro also, as we mentioned. She'll just take 2 on the spare. Lori, 28 years on tour. I mentioned all your halls of fame. Amongst those 28 years, you were a 4-time WIBC All-American, 9-time Bowlers Journal All-American, WIBC All-Events champ twice in 71 and 96, and also bowled some international competition. What a great career.
Well, it's been a great run for me. I always said to myself, I think I would know when the time has come, and the time has come. It's the game over the years I've been able to change with. The last 4 or 5 years has been more difficult than, you know, it's just there's a lot more dedication that you need to put into it. There's a lot of younger girls that come right out of college that are seasoned and ready to go, and they work every day. That's what they do. I did that 20 years ago. I went to the bowling center every day and practiced, and that's what my life was. And it's time, and, you know, I have no regrets, and it's been great for me.
Marianne now up in the second frame, leaving a 4-pin. Lori, I know you once told me that you said as long as you felt you could win, you'd be out here. Do you feel you can win still?
Well, I think that's where the part came in that I always felt that when the competitiveness wasn't there and I had any doubts that it was time to do that. And then that's where it's at. You know, I don't spend much time practicing, and so, you know, it's time. So it's been a wonderful thing for me.
Another Bowler of the Decade race, Carol Giannotti.
14 titles. She's won 1 major. 653,000 plus, 210 average, 86,000 points. And I have to mention that she has just made an awesome comeback from surgery. She had a very hot hand in '92. We couldn't beat her. 4 titles that year in the hunt.
Marianne DeRupo now striking on lane 19. Cheryl Daniels with that open frame. She trails by 11 pins. Stepping up in the third, can take it to just 1 with 1 more strike. Coming up high again, leaving the 610. Lori, what do you plan to do with your retirement now? You know, all this leisure time.
Well, I still have a job that I go to all week long, but my husband Terry and I, we love to go play golf. We're very fortunate. He works for the airline, so to pick up and go play for a couple of days is, you know, it's a relaxing thing. And so we're just going to kind of enjoy each other a little bit. I've done a lot of traveling, and I'm sure he started doing the laundry and the cooking, and so I think it's time that I stay home and start, you know, just enjoying each other and just the grind of living out of a suitcase. And you know, I'm very fortunate. For a while I had a motor home, but it's still a grind being out here every single day. And you know, fortunately I had some great roommates that helped me along my way, and that's another one of the tough things there is out here, is finding somebody that you can live with day after day after day. So.
Kind of like finding a husband.
Well, yeah, you know, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, and if you find one, you're very, very fortunate.
Do you know how to cook and do laundry?
Well, I can do the laundry. Cooking was never my forte.
Cheryl Daniels covering up that spare. Marianne now will step up in the 4th frame on a strike. In the lead by 12 pins, can take it to 22 with 1 more strike.
Pretty much anything that I do, I like to do on the grill. It's nice and easy.
Yeah, the grill is easy. Big strike for Marianne DeRupo, and continuing our Bowler of the Decade statistics, Alita Still, the lady who reached that $1 million mark. 14 titles for her in the 90s, 3 of those majors, $657,000, 209 average, and 77,700 points. Very close between those first few competitors. There's a look at Alita on hand watching. Marianne, now up in the 5th frame, can take that lead to 32 with 1 more strike. But not to be that 10 pin. Sure, you both of you have seen enough of those in your careers.
Yeah. One of mine that always sticks in my head, though, was a 4-pin against Lisa in the U.S. Open. It was,
I knew she was going to say that.
It was a biggie. I mean, first place was 40,000 and second place was 20. And it was a major 4-pin, but we had a great match. It was
$20,000 4-pin. We'll be right back with more semifinal action of the Samson Invitational. Stay with us. We're back at Samson Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center. In the middle of the semifinal match. This week, the numbers work against the left side. All top 24 people right-handed. Anne-Marie Dugan, 5th in pinfall, didn't win enough matches. 7-6-6-6 her finishes the last 4 weeks. Great run. Robin Masani made a run, missed by 66 pins.
And 11th and 15th, both of those bowlers right there in the hunt for Bowler of the Decade. Kathy Dorham, we saw her win just a couple of weeks ago, her first title in Pittsburgh.
While we were away, Cheryl Daniels threw a 3-bagger, has closed the gap a little bit. Marianne DeRupo leads by 12 pins, stepping up in the 8th, can take it back to 22 with 1 more strike.
Hey. Great shot. That's it. Come on, run it down.
Jim Callahan Ball rep for hammer or fab ball. Encouraging Marianne leaving that 10 pin. Lori, what do you think the biggest changes are in bowling that you've seen during your career?
I think the biggest changes is I went through the rubber ball, the plastic ball, the urethane. When we get into the reactive resin, I mean, years ago we used to sand our balls to make them hook. Now the balls are so powerful. The hardest part for me was trying to figure out, you know, I mean, everything was always down and in, down and in. It was like you had to open up the lane, and that was the hardest adjustment for me. And I think a lot of the older players is that we're always taught that we need to put the ball in the pocket, and with the powerful equipment, sometimes in the pocket's not the best place to be. And I think that's the biggest change that I've seen in bowling. The surfaces, they've all changed, but I think the bowling balls themselves are just so powerful that
sometimes it's hard to let the ball do the work.
Yeah, because
that's what you have to do.
Yeah, you were so trained that you had to make sure that the ball got to the pocket, that you're right, Lisa, the best thing is to just let it do itself. And, you know, I went through a phase where I went, oh, it's me.
And that's one thing right here that Marianne is doing, is she is definitely letting the ball do the work right here. She did come up light right there a little bit, left to 7. Could have struck, though.
Right.
But you know, the equipment she's using right now, the way she has it drilled, is letting her play the lanes exactly the way she wants to. And that's why she's in control so far.
You know, in today's game, drillings of positioning of pins and surfaces of the balls are so important that we didn't need to do that. You know, it was just, we took our double ball bag and off we went.
Well, Cheryl Daniels, what is important is this shot right here needs to set up a strike. Oh. Hits that big tip. Sharon Petrie Storm to her consultant.
What Cheryl has done on this lane, and we did see that she had some trouble on this lane before, tapping the 10 out right there. She has gotten lower with her legs. She's gotten a little bit more power. She's getting behind the ball a little bit longer right now, and that's going to get the ball down the lane. She's not hitting up on it, and that's going to cause the ball to hook early, and that's one thing she's worked on, and she's making it work right now.
Needs to strike out. Oh. Takes out the 7. She can strike out for 227. Marianne DeRupo would have to strike out to tie. Big shot here. Huge shot.
Well, I'm sure with Cheryl, this is a big shot for her. She's been struggling over the years, and you know, I think if she makes this shot, you know, it's going to be tough for Marianne to double in there to stay in the match. So
that's going to go. And that pin count really hurt her also. 6 count on a double. Marianne looking up at the score. Okay, what do I need?
Oh, boy, a little bit late right there. Look at that ball just sail out to the right. I don't think she was quite on her timing that shot. She didn't feel comfortable that one.
Well, I'm sure not. Like I said, that was a key shot for her, and
with that spare, finishes up at 213. Marianne DeRupo is going to need a mark in good pin count. Lori, while I have a chance, I want to say thanks for coming up. Great career. Not only were you a great bowler on the lanes, but a class act.
Well, I'm glad you guys had me on today. I'm going to come out and watch, and, you know, I have a lot of friends out here. I will miss the ladies a lot. The bowling, I don't think I'm going to miss that, but the ladies I'll miss a lot, and I really do appreciate it.
And must mark with a good count. Oh! Wow!
Well, for about 1 second right there, we were looking at disaster. This is going to be the bucket converted in one shot here. Look at this. 2, 4, 5, 8. No problem. Strike. Winner.
Wow. Well, you know what? They always say you'd rather be lucky than good any day.
Both would be good, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then these girls have it. They have it both. And you don't get to the shows like this without having both of them.
Well, lucky's on her side right at this moment.
I know my last title was here, and I needed a strike to force Dana to double, and I don't even know that I saw where the ball went. I just, you know, I went, oh, you know. And sometimes that happens. You just go, whoop, Where did that go?
But it was enough.
Yeah, it was enough.
Well, and that's enough for Marianne DeRufo. She barely hangs on to defeat Cheryl Daniels. She'll move on, but first when we come back, Carol Giannotti will advise us on how to adjust this wet, dry lane condition. Welcome back to Sam's Town Bowling Center. Alita Still continues to receive accolades for her $1 million achievement. Bob Reed of Ebonite International has a very special award for Alita.
Alita, the men and women of Ebonite are thrilled at your accomplishment to be the first lady to crack the $1 million mark in career earnings, and we're just very grateful to be a part of that success. You've been a member of our pro staff for 10 years, and so just sort of as a celebration, we commissioned Jay Schrecker of Hopkinsville, Kentucky to prepare a special presentation for you, which I'd like to have your fellow teammates present to you.
Wow. Like, wow. Oh, my God. Whew. Look at my notes. First off, I'd like to thank Ebonite especially for their continued support of the PWBA for as long as we've been bowling, just about. And I'd also like to thank you guys for supporting myself. It makes my job a lot easier when you have such a great staff of people behind you, continually striving to make the best product available, and a product line that has given me such great versatility to be as successful as I've been. I'm proud to be a member of the Ebonite Pro staff, and a lot of people ask me, what's left in your career? And my answer to that is to be wearing Ebonite on my sleeve when I retire. I'm proud to be, again, a member of the pro staff, and again, thank you, Bob, thank you, Bill, for this gorgeous necklace, and it's been my honor. It is a beautiful necklace. We're back for the championship match of the Samtown Invitational. Marianne DeRufo and Wendy McPherson on that pendant. 1 diamond for each year that she's been a staff member of Ebonite. 10 diamonds on that pendant. Alita looking on. Marianne DeRufo stepping up. Wendy McPherson is forcing Marianne to start the match.
And I think that for Wendy, that is the perfect move to make.
Marianne striking. And why do you think that's the perfect move?
Well, I think that's going to make Marianne finish on the right lane. She has not hit that one quite as good, I don't think, as the left one. Or at least not been as solid maybe in the pocket. Wendy probably does like the left lane, too. She's going to finish on the left lane.
Wendy's opening shot, big strike, and we continue with our Bowler of the Decade update.
Anne-Marie Dugan, 13 titles. Look at that, 3 majors. Money good, points all high, average 211. I got to mention, you know, she was also 2-time high average award. And I got to feel, you know, she's one of the leading contenders for this Bowler of the Decade race.
Also sitting beside us and doing the scoring, trying to keep things on track. I know she wants to be bowling. Great 4 weeks. Unfortunate breaks for Anne-Marie Dugan. Wendy McPherson up in the second frame. Even a 4-pin.
A little bit of nerves right there, I think. She didn't get through that shot quite as strongly as I think she wanted to, but left herself with an easy spare, switching to a spare ball. She's going to cut the hook down, go right at it. No room for error there.
Wendy's family, of course, she lives nearby in Henderson, Nevada. And speaking of error,
well, it's a good thing she did switch to that spare ball, because had she thrown her ball that she's using on the first shot, no possible way she ever would have made that. Good lesson for you people out there. Always good to have a spare ball in your pocket for that reason right there. She missed a bunch.
She would have made the 4-6.
Yes, she would have. She missed a bunch to the left.
Marianne coming high now, leaving the 3-6-10 on lane 20, where she will have to finish. Good point, Lisa.
Ball just hooking right through. That left herself a 3-6-10. Not an easy spare this week. The lanes this week were a pretty inconsistent pair-to-pair. I think, you know, they did put out a tough shot because this is a major tournament. We do have more bowlers. The shot should be tough.
I agree with that. Marianne covering up the 3-6-10 and another Bowler of the Decade competitor, Leanne Barrett. 14 titles, 1 major, that coming this year, 666,000, average 211 and 93,000 points. Very, very close race between these last 4 competitors. Marianne DeRupo now up in the 3rd, both players tied with a strike and a spare. Ooh, what took out that 7?
Great pin action right there. Late fall by the 7 pin. Let's see what that is. Head pin. Just took a little bit of a different path than it normally does. Oh, she's intense right now.
She wants this win. No titles this year for Marianne DeRupo so far, and that's unusual. 4-7 coming up a little high. Wendy, meanwhile, looking for her 2nd title of the year. There's a look at Connie Smoot, the Vice President of Sales of Columbia 300, big supporter of the tour for many, many years.
And Wendy on the staff of Columbia, I believe at the beginning of this swing.
Well, while we're removing a fly, we'll look at some more Bowler of the Decade race.
That's right, Tish Johnson, 14 titles, 3 majors already. In her career this decade, 718,000, 210 average, 87,000 plus points. 3 Bowler of the Years also.
Clears it up. We were told there was a fly on the approach. As we look at the score, Wendy McPherson now trailing by 2 pins. Stepping up now in the 4th frame. As I was mentioning, her family on hand all week. Her dad, Chris McPherson, sister Blair Smith, husband Nick Papanos. They've been around throughout the week, off and on. Kendall Lee Smith, her niece, here for a little while during the week. 10 pin, not wanting to go down. A lot of pressure on Wendy, as you mentioned.
Yeah, you better believe it. I mean, this is the tournament for Wendy right here. I think the shot, you know, wasn't bad. I think she did make a little bit of an adjustment right there. And she's going to have to sit down and settle herself down right now because she's got 6 very big frames coming up.
Marianne DeRupo is in the lead. We'll be back at the conclusion of this match to name the last champion of the year. Who will it be? Don't go away. We're back at the Samsung Invitational. There's a look at Gail Ramsey, wife of Rick Ramsey, our tournament director. They've been out here for 5 years with us. There's a look at Rick Ramsey. 97 tournaments. This is his final tournament as tournament director. He's leaving to work for the Bowling Proprietors Association of America as director of tournaments. We wish them well, and it's been a pleasure having them out here.
Tears in both of their eyes right now, I know, as they have been all week. Great friends of everybody out here on tour. And meanwhile, this match,
yes, has gotten very close. Oh, my. Marianne DeRupo was trailing by just three pins. With that break, took over the lead by 7 pins. She was working on a strike. In the 7th frame, this is the 8th frame right here.
Going high. Look at this. Man, where did that come from? Tripping out the 6-10. If you're ever going to get a break anytime, that's the time to do it.
There you see it. She leads by 7, can take it to 17 with 1 more strike. Big shot.
Wendy threw a great shot in the 7th, rung a 10-pin, a little bit light, 2-4-5 in the 8th. And speaking of ringing 10s, that was a great shot. We've got a match here. Great shot, and revving up right into the pocket. There's just not a whole lot you can do about that. She stayed aggressive. She stayed down. First shot in the 7th on that lane was great too.
And She covers up the spare. I'm going to take a second for special thanks to all those that make this show happen. From Buzz Sports coordinating producer Cheryl Caven, Steve Uline, the president of Buzz Sports, producer Jim Townsend, director Camp Samuel, audio director Florian Brown, Infinite operator Susan Hamaker, on lighting Jacques Darden and Will Bridges, on stage manager Brian Billert, on stats Carolyn Dorn-Ballard, Kathy Dorn, Anne-Marie Dugan, and let's not forget my partner Lisa Wagner. Thanks, guys. A great team. Wendy leaving a 10-pin in the 9th frame.
Here's a look at Wendy in the 90s. 12 titles, 1 major, 744,000 plus. She's a high average of the 7 that we've shown to 12. High in points, also 95,000 so far. She has 12 titles, looking to make it 13 and 2 bowlers of the year. Making the 10-pin here.
Well, she trails by 7 pins going into the 10th frame. If she strikes out, she forces Marianne to double. Of course, none of this would be possible without the great road staff we have. Rick Ramsey, as I said, departing tournament director, John Tackus, media director, player services reps Sean Morris, Chris Schlemmer, and the lane men who never get a thank you, Chris DeRoche, Denny Torgerson, and part-time mom, Gail Ramsey. Big shot in the 10th frame.
Marianne right now doing what she did the last round of match play. She's not going to look. Said that, you know, she just couldn't look at the scores, didn't want to know. She's just going up and making the shots that she has to make, not going to look. Big shot right here for Wendy.
And that could be the shot of the decade for Wendy McPherson.
These 2 shots, she has kept her legs under her. During the middle of the game, she did not keep her legs under her. She wasn't as strong. Now she's strong. She knew that she threw that one good.
Ooh, that's the most emotion I've seen out of Wendy McPherson, and I don't blame her. This is huge.
Yes, it is. That was huge.
7 count.
Well, could have a tie here.
It was, because 209 for Wendy McPherson. Marianne DeRupo, if she strikes and then spares, will tie, but she must have at least the first strike here.
She's taking her time right here, which is what she needs to do. This is a really big shot. Make sure that you're ready to go.
Must strike. Going high. It is over. Wendy McPherson captures her 16th career title here at the Samtown Hotel, Gambling Hall, and Bowling Center. There's more to come. Stay with us. There is the champion of the Samtown Invitational, Wendy McPherson. Final score 209 to 196. Mike Kaufman, director of bowling, and Joe Castaldo, senior vice president and general manager at Samtown, with a $14,400 check and a beautiful trophy. Watch for the PWBA again in mid-April on ESPN2. For Lisa Wagner and the entire production staff, we hope you enjoyed ESPN's coverage of the PWBA throughout 1999. So long from Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll see you in April. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.